the history of the boomerang, how it was used, and what it was used for. An interesting fact that you may not be aware of is that boomerangs weren't actually first found in Australia. According to the Britannica Encyclopedia, historical evidence points out that the use of the non-returning boomerangs were used by the ancient Egyptians, Native Americans, and inhabitants of southern India, and they were used for killing birds and rabbits. According to the article Battle Boomerang, they were also used in hand-to-hand combat. This boomerang I brought with me from Australia, so today I will be focusing mainly on the Australian boomerang. A boomerang is a flying tool with a curved shape used as both a weapon and for sport. A returning boomerang has uneven arms or wings so that spinning is in a lopsided curve to the path. They were used as decoy birds of prey. They were thrown across the long grass, which scared the game birds into flight, and then they were caught in the nets above. So quite a clever use of the boomerang by the Aborigines. Today, however, they are primarily used for leisure and recreation. To be able to throw a boomerang is not as easy as it sounds, and to make one come back can be even more of a challenge. Throwing a boomerang breaks down into 5 simple components. So first, you have the grip, then you have the throwing angle, adjusting to the wind, and lastly, and most importantly, the catch. The first thing the Boomerang Association of Australia points out, however, is that you ultimately need the right equipment. What I mean by this is that you need a true returning boomerang. Unfortunately, most of the boomerangs sold back home to all the tourists are not true returning boomerangs, which can make catching a boomerang a little bit more challenging. So I'll start off with the grip. Basically, the boomerang should be the decorated side or the curved side of the boomerang should always be facing yourself or your body, and the flat undecorated side should be facing away from your body. To actually grip it, put it between your thumb and your first finger and make a fist around the bottom of the boomerang. The elbow can also be facing forward, or it can be facing backwards. Basically, the easiest way to do it is to hold it in your hand and see what's most comfortable for you. Next is the throw. Now, always throw your boomerang in the traditional overhead style. Aim the boomerang at or just above the horizon before cocking the elbow back to release. Now, releasing the boomerang should be at the height of your throw. When thrown correctly, the boomerang will fly in a circle and reach its apex at the furthest point of the circle. Now, as the boomerang returns, it will begin to slow down and gently hover above the ground towards you. The throwing angle. The boomerang should be nearly vertical when releasing. Increasing the tilt angle makes it fly higher and land further back. Holding the boomerang more vertically, so a little bit off to the side, will make it fly lower to the ground and land more forward. One thing you should never do, however, never throw your boomerang horizontally. Don't throw it like a frisbee, because if you do, the boomerang will swoop and swerve in an uncontrolled diving motion, which can be very dangerous. Adjusting for the wind. Say, for example, it's a very windy day. What you want to do is face the wind directly and aim 45 to a 90-degree angle right to that wind. So if it's coming straight at me, you'll be aiming it in this direction. Now, the 45-degree angle is a rule of thumb which utilizes the wind in the best possible manner to get your boomerang to come back to you. Last but not least, there's the catch. Catching a boomerang, you should use both your hands in a clapping motion. You should also aim in the center of the boomerang, so the action is something like this. Try and avoid catching the boomerang in the wings because it can be a little bit more dangerous and it's also more difficult. Also, last but not least, never catch a boomerang that is out of control. Wait for it to hover and slow down. If it's still spinning uncontrollably and diving and swooping, don't try and catch it, because I can tell you one thing, on Australia Day back home, a few of my friends have gotten a few welts across their faces from uncontrolled boomerangs. So, coming to an end, I hope I have inspired throwing a go. It is definitely a refreshing task to try, and something new, and it is a great addition to anyone's bucket list of things to do. So I hope I've introduced you to some new information on what the boomerang is, where it originated, what it was used for, and of course, how to use it. So now, next time you pick up one of those things, you won't have to